Stop. Before you scroll away, look at your cat right now. I mean it. Because somewhere in your home, a tiny four-legged comedian is plotting something ridiculous, and you don't even know it yet. You think they're just sitting there, innocent, staring at the wall. But what if I told you that every silly thing your cat does has a hidden reason behind it? Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll never look at your cat the same way again. Trust me, you've seen it happen. 1 second, your cat is calm, dignified, almost royal. The next, they explode across the living room like someone fired a starting pistol only they could hear. They smack into the couch, spin around, and act like nothing ever happened. And you just sit there, coffee in hand, wondering what on earth got into them. If you're over 40, you've watched this show 1,000 times. And it never ever gets old, does it? There's a reason. And there's a thing nobody tells you about living with a cat. They are funny on purpose. Not always, but more often than you'd think. That deadpan stare. That dramatic flop onto the floor when they want attention. That offended look when you dare to move them off your keyboard. These aren't accidents at all. Your cat has figured out, in their own strange little way, exactly which moves get a reaction out of you. And they use them. Oh, they use them well. Think about the last time your cat made you laugh out loud. Really picture it. Maybe they knocked a pen off the table while looking you dead in the eyes. Maybe they got stuck halfway into a paper bag and flatly refused your help. Maybe they sat in a box 3 sizes too small and pretended it fit perfectly. You laughed because it felt human. Because in that moment, your cat seemed to understand comedy better than half the people you know. No coincidence. Cats are masters of timing. And timing, as any comedian will tell you, is everything. Watch your cat the next time you're stuck on an important phone call. Watch them the moment you finally sit down to relax after a long, hard day. That's when they perform. That's when they walk across your lap, tail in your face, demanding the spotlight. It's almost like they wait for the worst possible moment on purpose. And honestly, sometimes I think they really do. But here's where it starts to get interesting. A lot of what looks like pure comedy is actually your cat communicating with you. That sudden zoom around the whole house? It's pent-up energy finally breaking loose. That dramatic flop and belly roll on the rug? It's a sign of deep trust, believe it or not. Your cat isn't being silly. They're talking to you. And once you learn to read it, the whole show takes on a completely different meaning. A warmer one. Let me ask you something simple. Have you ever felt like your cat was quietly judging you? You walk in the door and they give you that slow, unimpressed blink from across the room. Like you've personally disappointed them somehow. We laugh at it. We make jokes about cats being furry critics. But there's a real story behind that look, and it's tied to thousands of years of how cats slowly learn to live alongside us. We'll get there. Just keep listening. Now, I know what some of you are thinking now. My cat isn't a comedian. My cat is plain weird. And maybe you're right. But weird and funny are closer cousins than we like to admit. The cat who chirps at birds through the window? The cat who hides in the empty bathtub for no reason? The cat who attacks your ankles at 2 a.m. Every one of these quirks is a tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle. And we're going to put it together piece by piece. Because here's the truth that took me years and years to finally understand. The funniest things our cats do are often the most meaningful ones too. That goofy behavior you film for your family group chat? It might be your cat showing love in the only language they have. It might be them feeling safe enough to be ridiculous in front of you. And for those of us who've lived who know how rare real comfort is, that hits different. That stays with you. So today, we're going to walk through the most hilarious, most baffling, most heart-melting things that cats do. And for each one, I'll tell you what's going on underneath the surface. By the time we're done here, you won't just be laughing at your cat anymore. You'll be understanding them. And there's a big difference between those two things. So get comfortable, grab that coffee, and let's talk about the little comedian who quietly runs your whole house. We'll start with the one everybody knows, the zoomies. You're sitting there in the evening, the house is quiet, and suddenly your cat takes off like they've been shot from a cannon. Down the hall, over the couch, around the corner, back again. Eyes wide, ears flat, tail puffed. It looks completely insane. And it's one of the funniest things a cat can do. But there's a real name for it, and a real reason. Let me explain what's actually happening there. Scientists call these sudden bursts frenetic random activity periods. Quite a mouthful, isn't it? Most of us call them the zoomies. They happen because cats are natural-born hunters trapped in a world with no prey to chase. All that built-up energy has to go somewhere, so it explodes outward in one glorious, chaotic sprint. It's not madness. It's release. Your cat is doing exactly what their wild ancestors did, just without the mouse at the end of it. You'll often see the zoomies happen at strange hours. Early morning, late at night. Right after they use the litter box, of all times. That last one surprises people. But it's so common that experts have a theory about it. Some believe it goes back to instinct, to a need to flee the area quickly after being vulnerable. Others think it's simply relief. Either way, when your cat tears out of that room like a furry tornado, now you know. It's ancient wiring. Something to think about, especially for those of us with a few more years behind us now. The zoomies usually slow down as cats grow older. So if your cat still gets those wild bursts, take a moment to really enjoy them. That energy is a sign of health, of joy, of a body that still wants to run. We don't always get to keep these things forever, do we? The same is true for us. So next time they go zooming past, smile. That's life moving fast and loud. Picture the famous box. You buy your cat an expensive bed, a fancy tower, a plush little castle. And what do they choose instead? The plain cardboard box it all came in. Every single time. It's a running joke among cat owners everywhere. We laugh because it feels like our cats are mocking our spending habits. But the box obsession is one of the most fascinating instincts in the whole feline world. And it makes perfect sense the moment you understand it. A box, to a cat, is safety. It's walls on every side. It's a place where nothing can sneak up behind them. In the wild, an enclosed space means protection from predators and a hidden spot to ambush prey. So when your cat folds themselves into a box 2 sizes too small, they're not being silly. They're answering a call that's older than recorded history. The box isn't a joke to them. It's a fortress. A tiny, ridiculous, deeply comforting fortress. There's even research showing that boxes lower stress in cats. Shelters that gave cats boxes saw them adjust to new homes faster, calmer, more settled. So that cardboard square you almost threw in the recycling? It might be the most valuable thing in the house to your cat. Funny how that works. The thing we find hilarious is the very thing that brings them peace. Sometimes comfort comes in the plainest, most unexpected packages. For them and for us. And it's not just boxes. Cats will sit in anything with an edge. A laundry basket. A shoe. A sink. A square taped onto the floor if you've ever tried that trick. They can't seem to resist a defined space. It cracks us up every time. But it all comes from the same deep need to feel contained and secure. Your cat is constantly searching for that one safe spot in a big, unpredictable world. And when they find it, even a tissue box will do just fine. Let me paint you a picture you'll recognize instantly. You're folding warm laundry, fresh out of the dryer. You turn your back for 1 single second. And when you look again, your cat is sprawled in the middle of it, looking up at you like, "Yes? Can I help you?" We've all been there. We groan, we laugh, we take the photo anyway. But that little act of theirs is layered with meaning, and it's far sweeter than you might guess. Stick with me on this one. That warm laundry isn't random. Cats are drawn to heat the way we're drawn to a fireplace on a cold night. Their bodies love warmth, and your clean clothes carry your scent on top of it. So they're not just lying there. They're wrapping themselves in you. In your smell, your warmth, your presence. It looks like comedy. It feels like comedy. But underneath, It's a small, quiet declaration. They want to be close to you, even in the laundry, especially there. All right, on to the one that drives people a little bit crazy. The knocking things off the table. You set down a full glass. Your cat strolls over, calm as can be, and slowly pushes it toward the edge. They look right at you the whole time. Then, with one deliberate paw, they tip it over, and it shatters on the floor. We joke that cats are tiny agents of chaos, little villains in fur coats. But the real explanation is so much more interesting than that. When your cat bats an object off the table, they're testing it. Their paws are incredibly sensitive, packed with nerve endings. They poke and prod to learn how things move, how they react, whether they're alive. In the wild, that instinct helps them figure out if something is prey. So your coffee mug becomes a little experiment, a test of cause and effect. They push, it falls, the world makes sense. It's curiosity in its purest, most destructive form. But there's a second reason, and this one's a bit cheeky. Attention. Your cat has learned that knocking something over gets an immediate, dramatic response out of you. You jump up. You react. You look at them. To a cat who is hungry for interaction, that's an absolute jackpot. Even being scolded counts as attention. So sometimes that broken glass isn't curiosity at all. It's a performance, a call for you to notice them. And boy, does it work every time. Now think about how that feels from their side. They live in a home where you come and go, where life is busy, where hours pass with you on screens and phones. And here is this small creature who has figured out exactly how to pull your eyes back to them. Is it annoying? Sure. But is it also a little bit touching? They just want a piece of your day, of your attention, of you. Even if they have to break a mug to get it. We're not so different, really. Onto the stare, then. The famous unblinking cat stare. You feel it before you even see it. That strange sense that something is watching you. You turn around, and there they are, sitting perfectly still, eyes locked onto you like a tiny statue. It's unnerving. It's hilarious. People joke that their cat is planning their downfall. But the truth behind that stare depends entirely on the situation, and reading it changes everything you thought you knew. A hard, fixed stare with a still body can mean your cat is focused, alert, maybe even challenging something. But a soft stare, with relaxed eyes, often means they're simply studying you. You're the most interesting thing in their world. They watch you to learn your patterns, to predict when food comes, when you'll get up, when affection is on the table. That stare isn't cold. It's devotion in its quietest form. They're memorizing the person they love most. And then there's the magic of the slow blink. If your cat looks at you and slowly closes their eyes, then opens them again, pay attention. Because that, right there, is one of the highest compliments a cat can give. In their language, closing your eyes near another creature means total trust. It says, "I feel safe enough to be vulnerable with you." Some people call it a cat kiss, and once you know it, you'll never miss it again. It's a gift, freely given. Try this tonight. Catch your cat's eye from across the room. Then slowly, gently, blink at them. Hold it for a second. Open your eyes. Watch what they do. Very often, they'll blink right back. And in that small exchange, something passes between you that words could never carry. We spend so much of our lives talking, explaining, filling silence. But your cat reminds you that the deepest connections sometimes happen without a single word. Just a blink. Now here comes the judging look we mentioned earlier, that slow, unimpressed glance when you walk through the door. We laugh and call them snobby little critics, but cats aren't actually judging you. That expression is mostly us reading human emotions onto a feline face. Their resting look just happens to seem aloof. What's really happening is they're processing, recognizing you, deciding whether to greet you now or play it cool for a few minutes more. And isn't that a relief in a way? All those times you felt your cat disapproved of you, judged your choices, found you lacking. They weren't. They simply have a face that looks that way, paired with a personality that values independence. Your cat doesn't think less of you for staying in your pajamas all weekend. If anything, they're thrilled you stayed home. The judgment was never real. The companionship always was. Funny how we get that backwards. Now, the sounds. Because cats have a whole comedy routine built around the noises they make. The chirps, the trills, that little chattering sound they make at birds through the window. If you've ever heard your cat go ek 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 at a pigeon outside the glass, you know exactly what I mean. It's bizarre. It's adorable. It makes us laugh right out loud. But that strange little sound carries one of the most primal stories in the entire animal kingdom. That chattering at birds is believed to come from pure, frustrated hunting instinct. Your cat sees prey it cannot reach. The glass between them is maddening. So their jaw makes that rapid clicking motion, the very same movement used to deliver a killing bite in the wild. Some scientists even think it mimics bird calls to lure prey closer. Either way, that funny little noise is your tiny house lion, fully switched on, hunting a meal it will never catch. And here's something that might genuinely surprise you. Adult cats almost never meow at other cats. The meow, that classic sound we all know so well, was developed almostly for us, for humans. Kittens meow at their mothers, but grown cats mostly drop it, except when speaking to people. Just think about that for a second. Your cat invented a language to communicate with you. They studied you, learned you respond to sound, and adapted. That's relationship. So when your cat meows at you, follows you room to room, chirping and chatting the whole way, they're not being noisy. They're holding a real conversation with the most important being in their entire life. Different meows mean different things. The short greeting, the long, drawn-out demand, the soft murmur of pure contentment. Over the years, you learn to understand them, and they learn to understand you. A private language built by the two of you. Now, let's address the one that's a little less charming, shall we? The 3 a.m. crazies. You're sound asleep. Suddenly there's galloping across the bed, a crash from the kitchen, a yowl from the dark hallway. Your heart pounds. You're convinced something is wrong. And then you realize it's your cat throwing a one-man circus in the dead of night. We laugh about it the next morning. But while it's happening, it's a real test of patience, isn't it? The reason behind it is simple, if it's deeply inconvenient. Cats are naturally most active at dawn and at dusk. That's when their wild ancestors hunted for food. So while your body is wired for deep night sleep, theirs is wired to stir, to prowl, to play in the low light. Your cat isn't trying to torture you on purpose. They're following a clock that's millions of years older than your alarm. They're awake and ready to live, and they'd love some company. The good news is, you can gently shift this. A solid play session before bed, one that really lets them chase and pounce, burns off that energy. Follow it with a small meal, and you trigger their natural cycle of hunt, eat, groom, sleep. Suddenly, those midnight zoomies fade. It works because you're working with their nature, not against it. And honestly, that's the secret to almost everything with cats. Meet them where they are, and they meet you back. Then there's the ankle ambush. You're walking down the hall, minding your own business, and out of nowhere, a furry little missile attacks your feet. They grab your ankle, do a quick kick, then sprint away like nothing happened at all. We yelp, we laugh, we call them a menace. But this one is almost pure play. It's the hunt, acted out on the nearest moving target. And now, in your quiet home, the most exciting moving target available happens to be you. This is especially common in younger cats and those who don't have an outlet for their predator side. The fix isn't punishment, it's redirection. Give them a toy to chase before they pick your feet. A wand toy, a ball, anything that lets them stalk and pounce on something that isn't attached to your body. You're not stopping the instinct. You couldn't if you tried. You're just giving it a better place to go. And your ankles will thank you for it. Notice the pattern forming here. Almost everything funny your cat does traces back to one of a handful of deep instincts: the hunt, the need for safety, the desire for warmth, the pull toward you. Once you see those threads, the chaos starts to make sense. The comedy never disappears, thank goodness. But now it comes with understanding layered underneath. And that, my friend, is when living with a cat goes from amusing to something genuinely profound. Consider one of the sweetest, funniest things a cat does. The kneading. You know it well. They climb onto your lap, or a soft blanket, and start pushing in and out with their paws like they're making fresh bread. We call it making biscuits. They get this far-off, blissful look, sometimes drooling a little. It's hilarious and tender at once. But the story behind those kneading paws goes all the way back to the very first days of their little life. Kittens knead their mother's belly to stimulate the milk while nursing. It's one of the first things they ever do. So when your full-grown cat kneads on you, they're tapping into that earliest memory of comfort and safety and being cared for. In their mind, in some deep and wordless way, you have become that source of comfort. You are their safe place now. That goofy biscuit making is your cat telling you they feel cared for. By you. After all this time, sometimes kneading comes with purring, and the two together are a powerful sign of contentment. Your cat is as relaxed and happy as they can possibly be. Yes, the claws can poke a little. Yes, you might keep a blanket handy for your lap, but try to receive it for what it really is. A small ritual of trust, repeated over and over through your years together. Not every gesture of love announces itself loudly. Some just quietly knead away on a Tuesday night. And this next one makes people squeal, not always with joy. The gifts. Your cat proudly drops a toy, a sock, or if they happen to go outside, something far less pleasant, right at your feet. They look up at you, clearly expecting praise. We don't always know whether to laugh or recoil, but this strange little offering is one of the most touching things a cat can do. And once you understand it, you'll never see that ragged toy mouse the same way again. Bringing you prey, even a fake one, is rooted in maternal instinct. Mother cats bring food to their young to teach them. When your cat brings you a gift, one theory says they may see you as family in need of provision, or they're simply sharing their prize with the one they trust. It's not gross, it's generous. In their world, this is the kindest thing they know how to do. They caught something wonderful, and the first thing they thought of was you. Let's lighten it back up with the keyboard problem. The moment you sit down to work, to type out an email, to focus on anything at all on a screen, your cat appears, and they plant themselves directly on the keyboard, right on top of the very thing you need. We laugh, we sigh, we gently lift them off, and they come back. It's a true classic. But there's a reason they choose that exact spot at that exact moment, and it tells you something rather lovely. Think about what that keyboard represents to them. It's warm from the machine. It's in front of your face, so it puts them squarely at the center of your attention. And it's the precise object stealing your focus away from them. Cats are remarkably good at noticing where your attention goes, so they plant themselves between you and the distraction. It's not random mischief. It's a small, stubborn request. Look at me instead. I was first, I matter more, and maybe they have a point in there somewhere. How many of our hours quietly disappear into screens? How many evenings slip past with our eyes fixed on glowing rectangles? Your cat doesn't understand deadlines or inboxes. They know you're here, alive, in the room, and they'd rather have your eyes on them than on a machine. There's a gentle wisdom in that, a reminder to look up sometimes. The work will wait. The warm creature will not, forever. And a quirky one for you, the head bonk. Your cat walks up and firmly presses their head against your hand, your arm, your face. They might rub their cheek along you afterward. We laugh and call it a head boop. It feels like affection, and it absolutely is, but it's also something far deeper and more deliberate than most people realize. Your cat is doing something specific, something meaningful. Every single time they press that little head into you. Cats have scent glands on their cheeks and forehead. When they bonk and rub you, they're marking you with their scent, claiming you as part of their world, their family, their territory in the best sense of the word. They're saying, "This one is mine. This one is safe. This one belongs with me." Among all the creatures they could choose, they chose you to wear their scent. That head bonk isn't just cute. It's your cat writing their name on your heart. Picture your own bathroom. Because for some strange reason, your cat absolutely must be in there with you. You close the door, and a single paw appears underneath it. You sit down, and there they are, staring up at you, completely unbothered by the lack of privacy. We joke that cats have no concept of boundaries, and we're not entirely wrong. But the reason your cat follows you into that little room is funnier and more flattering than you might expect. For one, a closed door is irresistible to a cat. It's a barrier between them and you, and they can't stand being shut out of where you are. But there's more. The bathroom is often the one place you stay still, where you're a captive audience. To a cat who craves your company, that's prime quality time. You're not rushing around. You're right there. So they join you. They simply want to be near you, even in your least glamorous moments. Especially then. There's something disarming about that, isn't there? Your cat doesn't care about your dignity. They don't care if you're put together or falling apart. They want to be wherever you happen to be. No performance required. No best foot forward. Just you, in the most ordinary corner of an ordinary day, with a small creature parked nearby like it's the most natural thing in the world. They followed you in here for nothing, and somehow that's the thing, isn't it? Now let's take a good look at the loaf. You know the loaf. Your cat tucks all four paws neatly underneath their body, folds in their tail, and sits there looking exactly like a fresh loaf of bread. It's one of the most beloved cat poses on the entire internet. We can't get enough of it. But that perfect little loaf isn't only for show. It tells you something real about how your cat is feeling in that exact moment. And it's a good thing to learn to read. When a cat loafs, tucking those paws away where they can't spring into action quickly, it usually means they feel safe and relaxed. They're not ready to flee or fight. They're settled, content, at peace in their surroundings. A loafing cat is a cat who deeply trusts their environment. So when you spot that bread loaf shape on your couch, take it as a quiet little compliment. You built a home where your cat feels secure enough to fold up and be there. Speaking of poses, cats sleep in the most ridiculous positions imaginable. Upside down with all four legs in the air, twisted into a pretzel, hanging half off the edge of a shelf, crammed into a flower pot. We laugh and wonder how that could possibly be comfortable. But these wild sleeping styles actually carry quiet messages, especially the one where they expose that soft, vulnerable belly to the open air. Let me tell you why that matters so much. A cat's belly is their most defenseless area. In the wild, exposing it would be dangerous. So when your cat flops onto their back, belly up, paws splayed, sound asleep in the middle of the floor, they are telling you they feel completely, utterly safe. There are no threats here. No need to guard themselves. That goofy, undignified sleeping position is one of the purest signs of trust a cat can show. They feel protected. And that protection is you. And a fun one to clear up here, the cucumber videos. You've probably seen them. Someone sneaks a cucumber behind their cat. The cat turns, sees it, and leaps 3 feet in the air. The internet finds it hilarious. But please, don't do this to your cat. It's not funny to them at all. That terror is a real fear response. They think a predator, maybe a snake, has appeared from nowhere. We laughed at those videos before we understood. Now we know better. I bring that up because real comedy with your cat should never come at the cost of their fear. The best laughs, the kind that warm you for days after, come from your cat being themselves. Playing, exploring, trusting, being silly because they feel safe enough to be silly. That's the comedy worth chasing. Not the startle, not the cheap scare. Just the natural, ridiculous, wonderful weirdness of a creature who feels at home with you. That's the good stuff. And some cats, believe it or not, play fetch. You toss a crumpled paper ball and they bring it back, drop it at your feet, and wait for you to throw it again. People are absolutely stunned the first time they see it. I thought only dogs did that. But plenty of cats fetch happily, and it comes from that same hunting drive, turned into a game you both get to share. It's one more way your cat invites you into their world, asking you to play alongside them. Before we go further, I want to pause for just a second. If you've made it this far with me, watching, listening, nodding along because you recognize your own cat in all of this, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel and join us. We talk about these little creatures every single day. And honestly, the people who gather here are my kind of folks. The ones who notice the quiet things. The ones who understand that a cat is family. Welcome aboard, because that's exactly what we are here. A bunch of people who came home one day to a small, strange, wonderful animal and somehow handed them our whole hearts. You get it. You know what it's like to talk to a cat like they understand every word. And maybe, in their own quiet way, they do. So thank you for being here with me. Now let's get back into it, because there's one sound your cat makes that we haven't fully explored yet. It might surprise you. The purr. We all think we already know the purr. It means a happy cat, a contented cat curled up and pleased with the world. And most of the time, yes, that's exactly what it means. But here's the part that catches people completely off guard. Cats also purr when they're frightened, when they're in pain, or even near the end of their lives. The purr isn't only joy. It's something far more complex and far more remarkable than we ever gave it credit for. Researchers believe purring may be a kind of self-soothing mechanism. The vibrations in a certain frequency range are thought to promote healing and calm. So a cat in distress might purr to comfort itself, the same way we hum or rock when we feel anxious. This means your cat purring on your lap could be pure happiness, or it could be them seeking comfort. Learning to tell the difference by reading their body is one of the kindest skills you can build. Then there's the tail. Your cat's tail is a flag, a mood ring, a whole sentence written in motion. A tail held high like a flagpole means confidence and a happy greeting. A puffed-up tail means fear or excitement. A slow, lashing tail often means irritation, a warning to back off. And that little quiver, that vibrating tail when they see you walk in, that's one of the highest signs of joy and affection your cat can show. Pure delight at your return. Once you start reading the tail, a whole new layer of your cat opens up. You'll catch the small flick of annoyance before it becomes a swat. You'll see the happy vertical tail bounding toward you and feel the welcome in it. It's like learning a language you didn't know you were already half fluent in. Years of living together taught you more than you realized. Now you're just putting names to the things your heart already understood about this animal. Consider the hiding. Sometimes your cat simply vanishes. Under the bed, in the closet, behind the couch, gone for hours. We laugh and call them antisocial, a little hermit. But hiding is important to understand, because while a quiet retreat is perfectly normal, a sudden change in hiding can mean something else entirely. Cats are masters at concealing illness and pain. It's an old instinct from the wild, where weakness made you a target. So watch closely. This is one of those things that matters more as our cats get older, and as we do too. A cat who suddenly hides far more than usual, who withdraws, who stops doing their funny little routines, might be telling you something is wrong. The comedy fading is itself a message. So enjoy every silly antic, yes, but also stay watchful. Sometimes the most loving thing we do is simply notice when our quiet companion has gone a little too quiet for too long. I don't say that to worry you, not at. I say it because love means paying close attention. The same attention that lets you laugh at their antics is what lets you protect them. And that's the quiet deal we make with these creatures. They give us comedy, comfort, and company. In return, we watch over them, especially in the years when they can't bounce around like they used to. It's a fair trade, the best one I've made, and I suspect you feel the same way. So let's bring the laughter back, because there's much more of it to come. Your cat sprinting at full speed for no reason at all. Your cat staring into an empty corner like they've just seen a ghost. Your cat sitting in the one sunbeam in the house, following it across the floor all afternoon long. Every one of these moments is a tiny gift, and we're about to tie it all together into something I hope stays with you long after this video ends. Stay close. Let's chase that sunbeam for. You've watched your cat do it 100 times. They find that one patch of warm light on the floor and melt into it, eyes half closed, utterly at peace. And as the hours pass and the sun moves, they move along with it, shuffling across the room to stay in the warmth. We smile at the sheer simplicity of it. But there's something in that image worth holding on to. Something about knowing what you need and going to get it. Your cat doesn't overthink the sunbeam. There's no guilt in it, no glancing at the clock, no sense that rest has to be earned first. They find the warmth and they stay in it for as long as it lasts. And you catch yourself watching, maybe a longer than you meant to, from across the room where the light doesn't reach your chair. They're not trying to teach you anything. They're lying there in the sun. But something about it lands all the same, doesn't it? And then there's the ghost staring. The way they fix on an empty corner, ears swiveling, watching nothing at that you can see. We joke that they're seeing spirits in the walls. The truth is their senses are far sharper than ours. A sound too faint for us, a tiny insect, a small shift in the air. Your cat lives in a richer, more detailed world than we'll ever fully perceive. They notice everything, and in their noticing, they invite us to notice more too. Think back over everything we've talked about today. The zoomies that are just released energy, the boxes that are safety, the kneading that is really love carried from kittenhood, the slow blink that is really trust, the gifts, the head bonks, the keyboard sitting, the following you into every single room. None of it was random. None of it was just silly. Every single funny thing your cat does has been, all along, a small, quiet act of connection with you. That's the part nobody warns you about when you bring a cat home. You think you're getting a pet, a bit of company, something soft to share the couch with on a quiet evening. And then, without you ever catching the exact moment it happened, this creature gets woven into the fabric of your days. Their routines become your routines. Their comedy becomes your comfort. And one day you go to picture the house without them, and you find that you can't anymore. So the next time your cat does something completely ridiculous, and they will, probably within the hour, I hope you see it differently now. I hope you catch the meaning hiding under the comedy, the trust under the silliness, the love hiding under all the chaos. Because they have been telling you this time, in the only ways they know how. You needed someone to translate it, and now you can hear it. Now you can hear what they've been saying all along. If this video meant something to you, if it made you glance over at your cat with slightly softer eyes, do me one small favor. Subscribe to the channel and follow along, because we do this together every day. And share this with 5 people who love their cats the way that you love yours. The friend with the orange troublemaker, the neighbor with the shy rescue, the folks who'd smile at every word of this. Pass it on. Let it find the people who need it. And I do want to hear from you on this one. Leave a comment, an honest one, and tell me about the funniest thing your cat has ever done. The moment that made you laugh until you cried. I read them, I love them, and while you're down there, tell me what you'd like the next video to be about. Your cat's strangest habit, a behavior you've never quite understood. Ask, and we'll dig right into it together, here, with this little community we're building. Because in the end, that's what all of this is about. Not the funny videos or the clever explanations. It's about the small, furry comedian who chose your home, your couch, your lap, your heart. The one who turns ordinary days into something worth laughing about. The one who asks for so little and gives back far more than they could ever know. They won't be here forever. None of us will. So laugh now. Watch closely. Hold the warm patches while they last. Go and find your cat tonight. Sit down somewhere near them, catch their eye, and blink at them, slow and gentle, the way we talked about earlier. And then watch. Watch what that little comedian does when they know that you finally understand them. Some things don't need any explaining. Some things you feel in the quiet, with a purring cat beside you and the whole noisy world far away. That's the show. That's the whole beautiful show. Thank you.